everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Jenna Lettingham. If we haven't met yet, here for the Level Up Your SaaS channel that will be on Facebook and a replay in the Facebook group. So welcome. We have Tom Melbourne here from MapLeads. It's a direct integration with HighLevel through the marketplace. So I'm excited to unveil this for everybody and show you guys what the cool software that they have built within the marketplace suite.
Yeah, awesome. Jenna, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate being here. So we'll go ahead and hop into it. I got two parts to this. Part of it's like a bit of a presentation. I'll kind of go over the things that I'll be talking about, and then we'll go ahead and jump into a demo, different parts of the platform, and different things that I think people in high level really definitely appreciate some of the things that we've put together and able to do. So let me get this thing kicked off, and I'll share my screen. All right. We did no testing, so I have to ask you, can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
All right, you can see and hear me, so we're good to go. So yeah, so as Jenna said, the name of it is called MapLeads, and it is an app in the app marketplace within HighLevel. You can install it typically into a sub account. We have an agency mode as well that we can talk to. I know there's a lot of agency owners that are typically in your group. Real quick to give you a quick understanding of who I am. Let's see if this thing will move. There we go. My name is Tom Melbourne, founder of MapLeads. I built it. I live up here in the Bay Area in Northern California. I've worked for a lot of venture-backed startups, building out sales teams of anything else. And I only share that with you because it's the thing that led me to building MapLeads. One of the things I learned along the way in building out sales teams for different, SaaS-based companies and startups along the way is, trying to bring a bunch of data through a pipeline and get it to a place where you can actually utilize or activate the data into prospecting can be a lot of work. And the other thing too is not a lot of data sets have really good coverage of local businesses. But the one I think place that does have really good coverage of local businesses is in fact Google Maps. And I think getting the data off of Google Maps isn't like necessarily the most interesting part. I think there's a lot of ways to get at data. I think it's all in the ways that you can apply that data. And then the one word I talk about all the time, which is like really just activate the data. So I'll go through what MapLeads is, how we pull things off of Google Maps, what you can do with it, and how we can take it from basically being, a piece of data to turning it into, a prospect or a customer within, your agency. So the things that I think people really use the product for the most is just really identifying Google business profiles in different ways. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So if you're doing anything with Google business profiles, things like SEO, reputation management, that kind of stuff, you're going to really appreciate the things that we can do here. And then another part of it that we'll talk about too is just like our website development piece, or like a web developer where we use AI to, basically build you a website in a click. So we'll go through just a couple things, which is customizable searches. I'll show you how to do those, how to then take those searches and enrich the business profiles. So finding things like email addresses, and then being able to push all that into the CRM through automated campaigns. From there, I'll talk a little bit about the website builder that I just mentioned. Then we also have this piece around postcards. So we're also doing direct mail in the platform as well. And we'll talk to you a little bit about how you can take and move or basically send a postcard out to different businesses for different things. Reputation management's a big one. And then the final thing, with agency owners on, I always like to talk a little bit about a feature of the product called agency mode, which is a way that you can essentially like resell this into the sub accounts that you have and turn it on within as many sub accounts that are within your agency. So we can talk a little bit about that too if we have enough time. All right, so I think the next part here is I'll just go ahead and jump right into the demo. So let me pull that up in 1 second. Jenna, any questions or anything on anything I just showed before I just jump into it?
No, not right away.
All right, perfect. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, and what I have here is just a version of HighLevel that I used it for really more or less demo purposes. There we go. And it's going to have MapLeads already installed on it. And so once you get in here, you think about doing searches on Google Maps, right? You're going to type in something like restaurant near me. We're going to be doing essentially the same exact search, but pulling it into this user interface and into this database so you can start to do a lot more things with it. So, again, like we might say something like a dentist, near, I don't know what city I haven't pulled yet, Nashville, and they could say like Tennessee. And then if you want to, if you're doing like SEO stuff, you can skip the first page. You probably don't necessarily want that first page of results. Or you can just go ahead and hit search. And what you're going to notice is we're going to start going out to Google Maps right now. We're pulling live results and pulling it all back into the platform. And so this is essentially the first page of Google results for the businesses that I just typed in. You'll notice that the first page always has 20 results. So if we wanted to get more businesses, you can just simply click load 20 more. And we're going to go get the second page for you. So now we've got 40 businesses within the search results that we've already just pulled through. And you can kind of paginate, between the two different pages, depending on, what it is that you want to look at. The map interface, you can, move around. It's going to be a really similar, familiar thing, right? As far as the way that you're going to use the map interface. And you can click on any one of these businesses and it'll pull up the rest of the profile around them. And then there's different things that we can do, within the profile itself. As long as we have a website, we can pull the website in here. So we're going out and grabbing a live screenshot of the website. So depending on, different things like that's actually a pretty decent looking website. Sometimes this thing will come back and you'll see like a 404 error. And it's probably somebody that you can reach out to and help, or you're just going to see a website that looks like it was built in, potentially late 90s. Once we have a website here, you can click to enrich to find emails. What we're going to do is go out into the web again and try to find any email addresses that are associated back to this business in any sort of way. Depending on the types of industries and things like that, we may find no emails for a business, or I might find you like 30 or 40. So we'll go ahead and click the button. In this particular one, I found one, and you'll notice it's a Gmail address. But what that probably means is that it's associated to like their Facebook profile, their Instagram account, or something like that. And a lot of times, though, when we do pull email addresses back, you're going to see that they're going to be like associated back to that exact URL. But let's just say we like this email address really easily. You can just click send to the CRM, and now it's in my contacts tab over in HighLevel. So once it goes into your contacts tab, at that point you can put into any sort of automation, start doing like an email campaign, things like that. A few other things on a page like this is I always try to make things like one click away for you. So you'll always have the Google Business Profile that I just scraped, where you can go to this, you can take a look at their reviews, you can look at their pictures, you can see how well their profile is done. And then, for example, if we don't have like a website for them, I find this to be really handy, where if you just click on that Google, it's going to automatically Google the phone number for them. And, spending a lot of years prospecting, you'd be surprised how much information you can find on a business just by Googling, their phone number. So as we go through the rest of this, I like to prospect where I work a list down to 0. So what I did is I created this hide button, and basically anytime you're done with that business, you can click the hide button. And what you'll notice is I've got 40 results. But if I just go and show only the ones that aren't hidden, we'll be down to 39. And so the nice part about that is as I'm going through the list, I can sort of pick up and leave off, leave off and pick up where I left off again. And if I want to see only the ones that I've hidden, I can see it here, and I'll know that it's hidden because it's got that red exclamation point. And then at any time, you can always click back on the business and bring it back into the list, and then go back and show all again. So you got a lot of controls here, and a way to really kind of create like a rhythm in prospecting, which is something that I find really helps when you're prospecting, is just making sure that how to kind of work through each one, kind of like turn over every stone before you move off the list that you've created. From there, it can get a little bit more interesting in terms of the types of things that you might be looking for. So in this UI here, you'll see that you can start to filter for things. So if we were looking for businesses, for example, that don't have websites, all right, so in this data set, out of those 40, all 40 of them have a website. So that was a bad example. This one might also be a bad example based off of that. But if we can say, maybe we're looking for reputation management, and we want to look for any business that's got, below 4.0. So in this particular one, I've got 1.1. And then the other thing you can do for reputation management is you can say, hey, like if they've got 20 reviews or less, So apparently dentists in Nashville, Tennessee are pretty well optimized. Let's take a look at, like, for example, CPAs in Washington. This one I've already done, so I can tell you there's a bunch within this one. But so if we go to the 4.0, I went from 60 and I just found the 23 businesses. They're all like a 4.0 or less. And I think a 4.0 or less, as a dentist, like I know I don't want to have my tooth pulled by somebody that's like a 3.5 personally. So, so I think a dentist would really, be served well with reputation management. So I want to show you a piece of the platform, that we can talk to. And before I do, I just want to kind of slow down and cover, or talk to the things that we just looked at. So what we've been able to see is just how to quickly do a search for the type of business that you would, be selling into as your agency. I showed you really how you can get the phone number and the contact over into the system, so you can do a cold call campaign or you can do an email. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about is direct mail, and I think it's probably one of my more favorite ways to go after it. Prospecting, I talk about this as being the trifecta of three things happening all at the same time, which is getting the right message to the right person at the right time. And I think if you can get two of those things, you're going to get traction. If you can get all three of those things happening, that's when prospecting becomes a little bit magical. It becomes a lot more efficient. So let's just say we were targeting CPAs in Seattle, Washington, and we want to talk to them about reputation management. Then what we can do is we do the filter. So now I know the right person, which is somebody with a 4.0 or below. And I'm going to talk to them about the right message, which is reputation management. And I'm going to use direct mail to target them to surface the right time. And so what I mean by that is when we click on one of these profiles, you can then very easily just click and send them a postcard. And the type of postcard that I would send, there's different types of postcards that you can put together, and there's a little builder inside of the platform where you can build postcards. I have all mine in test mode, so because I do this so much every day, I want to send 100 postcards out to people I have no interest in actually working with right now. But we go ahead and click test this postcard, and that's it. It's going to be sending it. So what we're doing right now is we're building a postcard for reputation management. And I don't know if you guys have seen, the little cards that people are using for reputation management. And if you haven't, what you'll see out there in the market is like a little RFID card. It looks like a building badge. And you just tap that to somebody's phone, and that will then it's programmed, right, for that person's business. And if the business owner taps it on somebody's phone, that person's phone will just pop up with the exact page to leave a review for the business. So as a business owner, like a restaurant or a CPA or whoever, they can use that card and go up to the person and say, hey, listen, I really appreciate working with you and value as a customer. If you wouldn't mind leaving us a review on Google, all you have to do is like tap this card. Of course, 5.0 or five-star reviews really help us. And that's really all it's going to take to start building reviews for a business owner. And so what we were doing with this is working on, I'm going to let this thing keep sending. That one's like taking a minute. But I did already have one built out. And you can tell because that little thing was there. So what we do is we go out and we grab a screenshot of their Google business profile to really personalize this card. And then what we also do is we put that little card thing I just talked about in the paper version with a QR code. And what it gives the business owner the opportunity to do is actually cut this card out and just start using it. You can see it was sent in test mode, but the QR code would actually be there. You can see we've got a picture of their business. We have their name of their business on the card. And so what ends up happening is, imagine you're the business owner and you're like flipping through the mail and you get this 6x9 glossy postcard with this thing on it. It's got your name of your business and it's saying that this card is programmed for your business. All they have to do is scan that QR code. And when they do, they'll get to a web form where they put in their name and their email address and their phone number. That will go directly into your HighLevel, into your sub account as a lead. And then when they scan it again, every time they scan it from that point forward, it's programmed to go to their business's page, where it's going to automatically bring up the Google review page where they can just fill in the form, so they can start to really quickly and easily start collecting 5-star reviews. And I mean, this guy's got 21 and is at 2.9. I don't know how you do that as a tax person, but I don't know how you stay in business with a 2.9. And on the back of it, you can put any message that you want. And I'll show you how to program or how to customize these cards. There's a little builder, like I mentioned inside. Um, once the magic of this, though, before I get into how we built it, so this other one's done. So I'll show you this one here real quick before I move on, so you kind of get the idea. So here's another one that was just built. This is the one that I built on the fly. So you can see same idea, but now we've got their business here. This QR code would be registered for their business as well. We put their business name here again. And so we've got a lot of like just personalization going on within the cards themselves.
And that QR
So
code's going right to that link from Google Business Profile.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
so cool. That's new
Mhm.
since we've last talked. That's really cool.
Yes, this one's kept me up late at
I
night
love
making
it.
this one. But
I
yes, yeah,
really
yeah.
like that one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the more popular features. I think a lot of people really
Yeah.
appreciate it because reputation management is just one of those really great, like I call it a trailhead into the
Yes.
business. It's a place to start, right?
Yes.
And it's a really easy one. And if you think about it, you don't have to have a CPA. A CPA probably doesn't necessarily want to become a marketer all the time.
Right.
You don't have to teach them all the software in a SaaS and how to be a marketer. You can literally just teach them how to scan more QR codes.
Right.
And that begins the journey because if they start scanning that QR code, now it's like, well, okay, well, so now you're getting reviews. Let me help you make those reviews work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me help you make those reviews work for you to get you more customers. And so that's where you start to sell like the reputation management platform. And there's some really amazing platforms out there. But you can do like AI autoresponders, right? Like things like that. You could do like posting. You can start to get into like social media posting for them. You can start doing SEO, but you can start to really make those reviews that they're working on getting start to work for them. And that's where the agency piece of all this can come in. And the nice part about that service is like they never logged into HighLevel once.
Yeah,
Like, right? You can just make it work for them and earn them as a customer in that way.
for sure.
I want to bring it back to what I was saying because I haven't showed you the right time yet. And what I mean by that is we already talked about the right person with the right message. But the cool part about doing this is, you think about a business owner who gets this card in the mail. They cut it out. They scan the QR code and they put their name and information and all that stuff. And then they start scanning it. And I'll ask you as an agency owner, like, would you rather make 100 cold calls or send 1,000 emails, find 10 people to sign up for your service that you sort of convinced them to try it, 7 of those churned because they didn't really mean it, 3 of them stuck around? And why I talk about that story is because I think it's one that a lot of agency owners can relate to. It's part of the challenge of like getting a business up and running. And so what's nice about this is that if a business owner like a CPA took the time to cut the card out, fill in the form, and you start to see them getting a few scans, what they're really telling you is like, hey, I see this, I understand that I have a problem, and I want to take an action to fix my problem. And just by them taking that initiative is going to make them a much better customer for you and a longer term customer than one that you sort of like convinced or they took an offer from you and they signed up for 2, 3 months and never really on board and then they churned.
Yeah.
In a sense, by them scanning this code, right, they're already onboarding themselves. And so what we currently have right now is anytime that they scan that card, we're going to track it. So now I can see like the Stanford and CPA. Now keep in mind, my account's complete test stuff and I do a lot of hacking around here. So I don't have really great data. Mine is like all just like fake data compared to, what's actually in there in the accounts that people are running. But this particular one is QR code. The last time it got scanned was on June 16th. And so what you can do is you can start to kind of sort this and see like based off the last scans or the number of scans. So if I'm an agency owner, I send out 100 postcards at the beginning of the month, give them about a week to land, about a week to get in use, come back here and check the leaderboard. And that's going to be like the 3 people that I want to reach out to and really work with to try to sell, my reputation management service and just basically onboard them into the thing that they're already doing.
Can you run like, is there triggers based off of this already?
Not yet, but it's on the roadmap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like,
Thinking
I
about
think
like,
it'd be really cool to as like an agency owner, like if somebody scanned my QR code for the first time to get a text or have my sales rep get a text.
so that part you can do off the form.
Oh, you can? Cool.
Yep, because it's a HighLevel form that's in your HighLevel sub account. So if you were to build a workflow and the trigger off of the
Nice.
form fill, it would absolutely work in that way. But we're definitely going to work on adding this in so that it potentially like has an opportunity to like create an opportunity, things like that, and doing different triggers in that fashion. But this particular one works really well because you are doing a form fill for them to register the card.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Let me pause there. So I got like at least one or two other things to show before, we kind of pivot out of some of this stuff. But yeah, Jen, any thoughts, questions, or anything? Do you want me to just keep going or?
Does the world icon that denotes a website, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So if we're looking at, I know dentists were pretty well covered, but let's just see, for example, we say no, and there we go. So I brought it from, I think it was 60 down to 12.
Love it.
So here's 12 businesses that just don't have a website. Well,
Cool.
they don't have a website listed in their Google business profile.
Okay. That was going to be my question. It's just within their GBP.
Yeah, yeah, and you
Cool.
can start to combine filters too, right? So if they haven't claimed their Google business profile, it's gonna have a little green dot. If it's been enriched, it's gonna have this little like looks like people, and
Oh,
you can
cool.
say like, have they been enriched, yes or no? So I'll say yes. So here's two filters on, right? They have not claimed their GMB and it's been enriched by you. And I guess really all I'm trying to show you is just the way that you can organize some of this stuff, and you can take a look, right? So haven't claimed the GMB and don't have a website. We've got 4 of those. Then that's how you can start to use some of the filters in that way.
Cool. And I know you can like filter by niche, but what about by like if I had a specific company in mind that I wanted to send a postcard to?
That's going to be coming out soon as well.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that will be something that will happen. So actually, let me before I move off of this, I'll show you the postcard builder. There's 3 types of templates. So one of them I just showed you, which is a reputation review management. That's what it's called in the system. And then we can also do basically just custom cards. So we'll call this we should demo 3 for the day and doing this particular thing. So we'll show like a custom card. So the nice thing about this is like I have a guy that uses this for as a cleaning company CRM system. So all of his sub accounts are cleaning companies. And so a cleaning company is looking for local businesses because they want to go into the dentist office, they want to go into the chiropractor, they want to get in there and start cleaning. And so for them to be able to send postcards is actually really valuable to them. So I have like a pretty basic postcard builder that gets the job done really well. But what I would encourage you to do is just go into Canva, and then you can upload a background image right out of Canva. So you can do the whole design in Canva, upload it here, and then I'll give you an example. So when I first started building this, it was really for a group of people that were doing reputation management. I uploaded a bunch of just like different things here. And so for example, we'll pick this one, and that's going to automatically populate. But where this system really comes in, and why wouldn't I just do this in some other way, is because what we're doing is we're making it and giving you the dynamic tags for the businesses that we found. So if you did find like a business or a chiropractor or somebody that you wanted to go in, and you could say like, keep, whatever, like your biz name, name, you know, like super clean with, handy cleaners or something like that. And that's when you can start to also do some edits here, right? So we can do something like this where we, highlight this part of it. And maybe we're gonna, again, highlight that so that it pops when they read it. And maybe we'll put an exclamation point, like that kind of stuff. You could change the color of things if you wanted to. So we can, you get the idea. It's just basically like a little bit of an editor. You do different size, different types of fonts. So maybe we'll pick like, oops, I gotta highlight it. Pick like that one, and then maybe make it like that, stuff like this. And then once I close out of that, you're gonna see it's over here. And so all we have to do is just basically move it over, and we can start to like drag it anywhere on the card itself, and then just go ahead and hit save. And then once this thing prints, where it says biz name with that dynamic tag, it's going to automatically populate the name of the business that you were sending it to.
Love it.
So the different types of tags is like biz name, number of reviews, ratings. So if you're doing reputation management, a great line is like, hey, people in, Springfield, Missouri are looking for you, right? But you have, 2.6 review on Google, right? Or you have 15 reviews on Google. And then I always say like, let's fix that. And then it gives them like the whole, brief of like what the card is and how the card works. And then gives them like, name and contact information of who to contact if they need any help with the card and things like that. So the point of this is like, I'm not trying to be a design piece here, right? Like I'm not trying to be Canva. That'd be a lot of work. But what I would say is like, I built this in Canva. It was a Canva image, and then I added like these two pieces of text and the text on the bottom. But when you want to add, personalization that's more personalized to them, then you can come over here, take that image, and then just drop the text on it wherever you want it to be. And then you can save that there. And then you can put a background image on the back as well. It'll cover the whole thing. But like the reason why I do that is because I don't know, maybe you want a little logo over here and you want text all around it. Then you would just be able to, build the background image and put text on top of it, in the exact same way. And this is where you set it from live mode to test mode. If it's in test mode, you can build it like I was doing, but it won't actually send it. If it's in live mode, it actually sends. And so those are the different types of templates or different ways to build it. The review management one looks like this, where these two pieces are already on the card. They're just set there so you see where they are, but they're going to dynamically populate with the right information when it gets loaded up. And then on the back of the card, this is where you're going to have the same idea, and you can click on this text, and you can very easily make adjustments to the text and things like that. As you're coming up with whatever creative messaging and things that you want to be able to use. And then the final one that we have, I'll just show you since we're in here, but it's called Site Builder, where we build a website and then you can send off a postcard. And the front part of the page, you can't edit on this particular template. So, and I'll explain more of that in a minute. And on the back is where we'll put a picture of the website that we built for them and then the message that we built. And so those are the three different types of templates that we can use. And then I'll go and I'll talk a little bit about the site builder part here in just a second. I just like keep pausing real quick if there's any other questions or things I'm missing along the way, but so far so good.
Yeah, Andrew asked about in what does the has been enriched mean, and that's just in relation to their Google Business Profile is what I said. That's correct, right?
It's basically whether or not I went and looked for social profiles, email addresses, things like that. So once I click this button, and there you go. So I got two email addresses. Both of these are in Gmail. You'd be surprised how many small business owners run their business in Gmail.
Yes.
And then now you see how it popped right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that means it's just letting me know that I've already enriched it. Like I've already looked at it, I've already enriched it. It's just a way to flag it for me to know that it's already been done.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. And another way to kind of look at all this data and use it, which I hadn't talked about, but we also have a different view. So this is like the other one was a map view, which just depends on how you like to look at all this stuff. And you can see I found two contacts right there. But what we can also do is you can, click like select all. Let me just select like, I don't know, maybe a handful of these. And instead of having to go through everything one by one, what we can do is now I can just say, go ahead and find emails. And you're going to see this thing start loading up. So there I found one for that business, two for that one for that one. We didn't find any here, found one here, right? You can see the spots where we didn't find any and where we did find, emails. And that way there you can kind of quickly see. And then the other nice part about this view is that if I select all of these and you've got tags inside of the CRM, then tags are all about organization and automation. So, depending on what type of tagging I want to do for it, and then I can just click send all of those to the CRM, and then they'll all automatically be sent over to the CRM, as well. So now
So
those
you're
are in the CRM.
mapping that tag in here and it automatically goes into HighLevel.
Yeah, the tags
Cool.
come from HighLevel and then go. So it's like whatever you have inside a HighLevel. So we would go like this. Those tags are going to populate based off of what you have inside your system.
Cool.
Yeah. And then the same thing, like you can also, we can grab, well, I'll just show you the idea of this, but I won't actually send them all. But we can send them all to the CRM in one shot. So again, we could tag all these like this, and I can say import only the businesses, or I can import businesses and whatever emails I just found. Or I could just say only send over the email addresses and then click bulk send, and it's going to automatically be in your CRM in a few seconds.
Very cool. Is there any way to segment emails like based off of, is it only the original owner of the Google Business Profile? Like, because if some people do have like agency owners as like the owner of their Google Business Profile, is that going to pull that in too? Or is it going to be like quote unquote smart enough to filter that?
Yeah, I've thought about some of the filtering. It's not there quite yet. So it
Yeah.
just depends on what you want to do. But we can when you do that, you're going to pull in anything and everything that we found.
Okay. So if it has like multiple people as the owner slash manager, does it only pull in owner or is it manager too?
I don't actually know who all the people are that we're pulling in. I want you to understand what it is that we're doing. We're actually just doing search engine results, which is really different than or like querying a database of data that's been around for a while. And there's like benefits, there's pluses and minuses to both.
Okay.
The thing that we're doing is we're really just going out to the internet and doing a search and then trying to detect that email address in one of two fashions, either based off the URL that they have, or what we're doing is we're detecting it based off of like, yeah, like inside of a Facebook profile or Google Business profile. Like if we can get at it and if I can get at that piece of data, I'm going to pull it in. So yeah, you'll see like a random Gmail address and you're like, why is that here? And it's like, well, it's because we actually associate it back to the business in some way. But the level of stuff that you're asking about, what I don't know about a contact is I don't know what their title is. I don't know what their name is.
Okay.
But what I found is that doing prospecting myself for a really long time, when I'm doing an email, and especially to a small business, whatever email addresses you're pulling up for a small business typically are the ones that they use.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to the person that's handling whatever it is that you're doing by going through that email address, more often than not. Um, Yeah. And then the final thing is just that you can also do like a bulk sending of postcards out of this. And this will detect if there's anybody that doesn't have an address, they'll get pulled out of the list. You'll see that here. And if you've already sent them a postcard, it'll tell you that you've sent them a postcard and it'll take them out too. So you're not accidentally sending postcards to people over and over again. Um, so yeah, so that's the list view of it all. The other feature that we'll touch on is the site builder part. So actually earlier this month, Google finally deleted out all the URLs inside of Google Business profiles that were Google Business websites. And so what ends up happening is we'll do a search here and there's a few other pieces I'm looking for. So they have to like not have the URL inside their Google Business profile. They have to have a couple of reviews and a few other things that I'm trying to find to be able to have enough information to write a website about them. And so, this particular one is good because I've got a template for roofers. But I'll show you real quick how this works. Basically, you just click on build a site, and this template lives inside of your HighLevel. The template that I built for the roofer is literally just a HighLevel template that I just put a few tags on. And you can build as many templates as you want. So with thousands of free templates inside of HighLevel, what you can do is you can grab any one of those, add these tags to it, and this thing's going to automatically populate all the text for the website for them. So I only show two because that's all I've done so far. I got people doing like lawn repair stuff or like 6 different plumber websites that they have, and they'll load this thing up and they'll have a really long list of different templates that they're using. So I'll go ahead and click on build a site, and we're going to let this one run. So we're going to remember that it was this one right here. And while that's running, I'm going to kind of give you an idea as far as what it's going to build. So again, we go out to the internet, we do a bunch of research on the business itself, and then we write about that business. So imagine that you're this roofer and you start to see, information about yourself like meticulous cleanups. Like that's probably something that you are known for. We're going to talk, you can see like the text about the roofer themselves, their founder. So it's kind of like as you're reading this, it's like, wow, they actually know me, because like I'm seeing all this stuff. We actually research the types of services that they're known for, and then we write about those. So if I'm the roofer, not only did I appreciate everything you just wrote about my founder up top, but I'm reading like, oh, we do comprehensive roof installations. That's one of the things we're most known for. Oh, we definitely do roof repairs, right? Or whatever it is. And then when we come down here, we'll grab any quotes that they had on their Google Business profile. So these are real quotes that they've probably seen before and that they've read, they've recognized. We throw a little content in on like why you should get this service done now. We grab real customer reviews and populate those. And so the whole point of this is just making it look and feel like theirs so that when they look at this website and they see it, there's a big difference, I think, especially for roofers. So what we did here, sorry, I'll keep going, but we populated Q&As. So these are all dynamically built as well. So you got a dynamic question, dynamic answer, you got a few of those. And then I guess the last thing we'll talk about is just that we get the business address and we actually put it on the map. So when they kind of see this, they see that it's like, that's their address. Like they know this address. When you're going to build a website for like a plumber or roofer or anybody like that, like it can be kind of intimidating for them on the other side. If they've never gone through the process, they just might not know how to. or they've got like this idea of something, or they don't know how to tell you what the idea is, but let's just say they did, and then you go build it, and then you bring it back to them, and then that's when the real ideas start coming out, and that's when you're in this project that never ends. And so I think different way about going about it is it's just like, hey, look, like I have a website on the shelf, it's right here, it's yours. It's all about you and it's written about your business. Do you like it and do you want it? And I think it's a much faster approach to be able to do this. Now, keep in mind, I do get asked this question a lot, like, well, how do I just like put them through a checkout process now and get them to buy that site? It's really not meant to be a production website, right? These are all dynamic tags that are being populated in and we're filling the site. And I'll show you a little bit more about that here in a second. It's meant to be a prospecting piece and a starting place. Now, if they love this website and they absolutely want it, you could copy all the tags, put it on the template, load it up, and you're done. It wouldn't take you much time. But at the end of the day, this is really meant to be, again, a trailhead of a conversation. So are we going to, sell them a single page website? Are we going to sell them like a pop-up? Are we going to sell them, AI booking bot? Are we going to sell them a chat widget? We're going to sell them some SEO with Google Business Profile, like all that stuff. You can start to like venture down the path of like, how can we get them more customers? And a website really is a great place to start. The piece of it that I showed you kind of backwards here is the postcard. So, and actually I want to pull up one for a plumber. Well, let me just stay on track here. So once you have the site built, you can click with one click and send them a postcard. And so what ends up happening is we put, the top part of the website on top, and then this is kind of jacked up because it's a demo account, but you get the idea. We put a picture of their website on the back. So it's just enough so you can see that there's more here, but not enough to actually see what it is. There's a QR code and then a URL. The dial flow is just a junk domain that I have that I use for stuff. It would be your domain, view site equals in the site. That's the whole URL, and everything else automatically populates on its own. And so anytime they hit that URL or they scan that QR code, it's going to go back into that same tracking page that I showed you before, and it's going to show up as a site builder scan versus like a reputation management scan. So if you're sending out cards for, websites and you're sending out cards for reputation management, you go back to that QR code scan page and it's going to give you a list of everybody that you need to be reaching out to. Why? Because they've raised their hand. If I'm a roofer and I got this card in the mail and I was curious enough to click on that link, I got a shot of like actually talking to them and doing something with this. Mm-hmm. And of course, you could put all of your own information on the back here for them to be able to reach out and contact you. So this was the site that we had built before, and I'm going to show you the difference. You're going to see it kind of flash for a second because it's just loading up in my cache. That person won't actually see that, but there it is. So now there's a new site, and now you start to really get the idea of what's going on. It's the same template in the background. We're just populating all the information about their business, making it really personalized. You can see now they're known for asphalt roof, they're known for metal roofs, and comprehensive roof repair. So those are the three things they're known for. And you just kind of go down the page and it's like you just got a whole nother section again too. What was I going to say? I was going to show you I like the plumber one a little bit more, the way that I built it, because it's got the name of the plumber at the very top. So when you go to send a postcard, I think if I'm getting this postcard in the mail and I see that it's like my business, did I send a postcard to this one? No, I didn't. Well, we can click that button anyway and do boop. There we go. But I'll get like the name of my business. So going through the mail, I got a 6x9 glossy postcard. I look at it and there's like the plumber's name, their phone number, all that stuff, and it just kind of makes it like a little bit more personalized to them. All right. I feel like that's a good chunk of the things to show.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Any questions in the chat or anything?
Yeah, Andrew's got another one. He said, so we would have to build the templates ourselves, or we can select from HighLevel. Yes, that's correct, Andrew. So either you can build it yourself or you can grab one of the GHL templates. Also, is there a way to do WordPress templates?
It works with WordPress too. The biggest thing about WordPress is there's a plugin you have to use that reads page parameters. And as long as you do that and you put the tags in the right way, you can load up a WordPress site.
Cool.
Yeah. Get all load and fresh data. So here's like an example of, you could be like a roofer. I'm sorry, a funnel or a website. It doesn't actually matter.
Right.
But this is the roofing one. So if I was to click on that, you'll see here in 1 second. there's about 30 total tags, and you'll have like a header tag, a subheader tag, like phone, address, those types of things. So however you format this is how it's going to populate. So when we were looking at like the roofer site, which I think was one of these, you can see how the size of it and all that stuff, it's because you formatted the tag in that way. Same thing with the subheader, your phone number, about us. These are all the places where we dynamically populate the text. And that's it. That one template you can use over and over and over and over and over. So that's what I was saying. You can set up as many templates as you want. And you can set, and again, like you can pull them at a high level. As long as you start to add the tags and some of the structure to it, they're all going to work exactly the same.
And it doesn't pull out any pictures from their Google business profile, right?
No, I didn't have a really good way of like checking those pictures before they published.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest, although I guess Google probably does a decent job of it, but some of the pictures are pretty awful.
Right.
So I didn't do anything with that. Definitely thought about it, maybe a future state of it, but nothing right now.
Andrew says, is there any way to pull their logo?
No, I
Could
went
they
through
do
that
that with a
too.
form? Like the
Mm,
form fill, maybe? With a
yeah,
custom
yeah.
value?
But then you're getting that from them.
Yeah.
So a lot of these businesses, I can't even find a logo for them. I started
Yeah.
to do a logo generator and I realized that it wasn't even needed.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like just a starting place. And if you want to do logos and things like that, you absolutely can. But we don't have a way of generating a logo currently today. Maybe in the future. But yeah, you can see this is going to, the same way.
Yeah. Love it.
Andrew, any more questions?
I guess I'm the only one asking.
No,
Yeah. It's okay though. I like them.
I love it. Like I like the example you used of for the cleaners because some of these local service-based businesses being able to turn this around and use it for themselves is a really cool idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can put it into sub accounts in that way.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Andrew, you got anything else?
Nothing I can think of this very moment. And so it plugs into per sub account. So basically, this is like resaleable.
Yeah, there's a couple flavors to that.
Okay.
So let me show you this other version here. Give me 1 second. Let me close down some of these because I think I'm killing all this with some of these loaded. All right, so let me get back to this page and then I'll show you the page I want to actually get to. I just got to flip a switch. All right, so there is an agency mode, which is probably really relevant to most people on this call. But once you load this thing up, you can sync the sub accounts, and once you hit sync sub accounts, it'll just pull in all the sub accounts that are in your instance, or in your account, in your agency. That was the word I was looking for. And once you connect it to the CRM, which is done through this button here, then it lights up blue. And when it's blue, I can click on it and I can pull up all the settings for that particular sub account. So as an agency owner, I can sync the users. You can see I got 3 users in this sub account. And what I can also do is I can just set whatever number of credits I want them to have. Literally the number makes no difference. All this says is that they can't use any more than that number that you put in that box.
Mm.
So if I just put in like 1,000 credits again, right, which is where I'll leave it, I hit save and I can tell that they've used 20 this month and that the credits refresh on the first of every month. Then what happens is that these credits, if and when they use them, will come out of your balance. So what happens is you can sell them like a bespoke plan through HighLevel, build a product for them and just sell them like 1,000 credits a month for 99 bucks or whatever you want to do. And if they use the credits, then they come out of your balance. And if they don't use the credits, then no credits got used. You didn't get charged for the credits. And so I think it's just an important thing to understand, the way that that's set up, because it's like one master pipeline of credits that you're selling versus you trying to like buy one for each sub account and then like resell it to each sub account. So I have people using this in a lot of different ways. one person I know just puts this thing in every sub account, gives everybody 100 credits, and hopes they hit the wall and calls them. And that's like his lead gen to sell MapLeads within his accounts. Like, he'll just let it be there. They find it, they venture into it, and then they get an error message saying that they're out of credits, and they say, "Hey, how do I get more of these credits?" "Oh yeah, great, glad you called." So there's just different ways that you can use it in that sense, and then you can turn on Site Builder, or you can turn on the postcard piece. Like these two are different. The credits are different too. Obviously, postcard credits, you have a physical thing. We got, we're printing them on demand. We're mailing them. There's postage. There's all that stuff. So they're more expensive of a type of credit. And then this is where you load up the templates. So remember, I had a roofer and a plumber. You just tell me what the URL is of that site. So it could be a WordPress site. It could be any site, really. I just show it in HighLevel all the time because it's the easiest way to do it. And it's probably the place that people are the most familiar with, but people ask about WordPress all the time. There's a lot of other site builders out there that people are starting to use, but as long as you have a URL that can read parameters and you put it right here for me and you put those parameters on that page, you can use that template in any site builder that you have. Then postcard settings, this is where you would control the templates. Actually, I probably should, yeah, we've already seen this part, but this is where you control the templates for each location now. So each sub account, that's where you come in and set up the templates for them. And then let me just go back there real quick, which was where I was in this.
So meaning you would allow people to like send postcards that aren't necessarily for like a QR code to review, but just maybe like a QR code to like, oh, I don't know, like one of those like financial advisor cards that you get that they're like, oh, we're running a dinner seminar that you can come to if you have like a certain number of asset dollars or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or like the cleaning company, like I just talked about.
Oh
So like
So
yeah,
a
yeah,
like you
beanie
have a
bean
10%
company.
coupon or whatever for your
yep,
first cleaning or something.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Got
And so
it.
yeah, you can enable it within their account. But yeah, I mean, like they wouldn't need site builder. I would just take that off.
Right.
Right. And then when that comes off, they just don't have the button for site builder. They can't access it. They don't even know it's in the platform. And then same thing with the postcards. If you take that off, it just doesn't show up anywhere in the platform. But you can see every time I'm turning it on and off, you've got like now what's going on down bottom here. The same way you could set a credit maximum for the location or the sub account, you can also do the same for each individual user. And you're looking at this, you're saying, well, it's 4,000, I have 1,000. What's up with that? The only thing that can happen is cumulatively, all these users can't go above the location maximum. That's all that's happening. So I could put this number to be 10 million if I wanted to, but as soon as the location hit 1,000, this user is going to get a message that they're out of credits. And so it just gives you the ability to just set maximum so they can't go past it. And then the site builder and postcard credits, they just burn down. So there is no real like maximum here. You just tell them how many credits they have in the account, how many they can use. And then as long as they have a balance above 0, they can send a postcard or build a site.
All right.
Yeah.
You
And
have like
that's
reference training materials that, in case we want to dive into this and figure it out, that we
so
can
more. Yeah,
reference.
I have like a one video right now because when you get up and running, you have to install. Well, you have to install because I've already packaged it for you. But there's a couple things on those sites, like the plumber site. I give you that template. There's a landing page that you need to put in. It's literally just a blank page with some code on it. You pop that in, and then there's the page for the QR code, which I didn't go through that full example, but when you click on the QR code and you fill in the form, there's a form funnel for that too. Which is like this page right here. And that's it. And then it'll tell you how to like basically take the pages here, get the URLs, add those back into MapLeads. And it's about a 30-minute video to get everything, up and running. But the cool part about this particular form, as long as you have the form on the page, I mean, you could turn this thing. I've seen some people build out some pretty serious landing pages here with that form in it. So if you got a video sales letter or anything else, and this is for the QR code, right? So you could do a video real quick of like, hey, I just mailed you this postcard and cut it out, have them scan it, get reviews, call me. It's like stuff like that. But this is the form that they fill in, and then they just click activate card. Once it's activated, every time after that, it goes directly to the review page. So that's the setup stuff. That was a long-winded way of answering your question. Yeah.
Is there any white label docs for like if we turn on agency mode?
So it's not white labeled. But in order to be approved as white label in the app marketplace, you cannot have any mention of HighLevel anywhere.
Right.
So yeah, when I first got going, that wasn't a thing. So I had HighLevel all over different things, and they kept turning my app off, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Well, we found this picture of like the HighLevel logo." So like I've had to go through and clean this whole thing out to make sure that HighLevel is not visible. You could go to MapLeads, and you're still not going to find HighLevel anywhere. And anytime I talk about it as a CRM. There is a connection on MapLeads, but it goes to the gray label, which is like lead
Lead
connector.
connector.
Yeah. So there isn't really any mention of anything anywhere in HighLevel. And anytime I talk about the CRM, I talk about it as a CRM.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Is there like a doc though I could send somebody to like know how to like make a postcard, um, and stuff like that?
Not yet, but I got to build it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's actually I'm finally getting to the point where I'm getting into the boring stuff of getting those things knocked out.
Cool.
Yeah, I got a few more things I want to do to the UI before I started getting down that path. And a lot of the UI stuff now is mostly in like the team plans and things like that, where there's still like you click into like 4 screens when it could just be one, but it was just the way it got developed and the way it worked through. So I'm going to clean up some of the UI stuff and make it a little more interesting in a few spots and then start building docs from there.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Can you remind me again how the credits work, like pricing wise?
Yeah. Do you want to go through like the offer part of it?
Yeah, let's go through the offer part and like explain to everybody like how it works, and because I don't even remember. It's been I think like a month and a half since we talked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, all good. So let's pop into that piece of it all, and then we'll start to kind of wrap it up with that. And let me just get to that part of the screen, and I'll hit present and get this thing back on. All right. So there are credits. There's 3 types of credits because they're just different types of things. So you have a search credit, which is basically that's like when we're pulling the business off of Google Maps. So you're using those typically 20 at a time because we're pulling one page at a time. So you do a search and you know when you're pulling these. It's not like it's a surprise and you're like, wait, what happened? You're doing 20 at a time. So we do a search, we pull 20 businesses, you click the next page, that's 20 businesses. Uh, and then you can do that, however much you need to get as many businesses as you're looking for. When you do a search for emails, that enrich button, that doesn't cost any credits. So I encourage you to click it as much as you want. And the hard part about that is like, I was looking at trying to do credits there. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I might not find you any emails. I might find a bunch. I might find a bunch and you look at them and you say, I only want 2 of these. The rest I don't want. So to me, it just didn't make sense to charge for those because I couldn't really find like a great way for a cost of value alignment of like, if that makes sense. So in other words, those are free. So you can get email addresses as many as you want. And the thing to know about there is like when you're doing a big search like that, you start filling up a page, like and you do like a mass find emails or whatever, like you might take 100, businesses and turn into like 500 leads real quick. So just keep something like that in mind. And then the site builder credits is anytime you build a site, that's one site builder credit used. And right now, the way that it's set up is that, we find the businesses for you, but when you're doing the search there, and I showed you I found 13 roofers, that doesn't cost anything to do that search because we're only bringing you back website or, businesses that don't have a website and meet the criteria that we're looking for to build the site. But the caveat there is you can't do anything else with that business. Like you can't push it into the CRM. You can't do anything else with it. The only thing you can do with that is build a site, but it's a nice free way of not burning through. Otherwise, you'd have to burn through like 100 credits to find 10 businesses, right? So the way I got that set up is that you can do the searches. We'll pull back just the ones without the websites and we'll do it really quick. And those won't cost you anything. And then you can take those and build those into websites. And then the final thing is just a postcard sent. So it's a 6x9 glossy postcard. It's all tracked. It's mailed first class. People ask me sometimes like, well, once I see the postcard on the screen, how do I print it? It's like, no, that it's done. It's printed. It's like, it's gone to the printer. They're mailing it for you. All that stuff is happening behind the scenes. You don't have to do anything other than hit the button. And so all of that's being done there as well. And then the email piece, which I've already talked about.
And
So
how
that's how
fast does it usually hit their mailbox?
it's about 5 to 7 days total. Yeah, it goes to the printer. It takes about a day. They print it, then they get it out, and you can actually see the thing going through every step. There's about 7 steps total where it gets to the printer, and then they print it, and then they put it into like local delivery or whatever, local office. Then it gets to the mailbox, and you can see that, when all that's happening as well. So those are the credits. I did talk a bit about agency mode. This one can get a little bit confusing. I think you guys got it. I'm gonna probably skip past some of this stuff, but basically what we're trying to talk about is like, hey, if you had like 1,000 credits and you could turn that into where you're only paying for the ones that they're using, even if you're charging them for all of them, which we'd already kind of talked about. So I'm going to kind of skip past some of this stuff unless there's any specific questions. But yeah, search credits. So the search credits. So with MapLeads, the basic plan, it's like $97 a month, and it comes with 1,000 search credits. And those search credits are like a use or lose type situation. That just kind of keeps the platform, me working on it, supporting you, all that stuff. But it gives you 1,000 search credits to use as well. And so Jen, if it's all right, I'll jump into the offers and just kind of talk through what some of those are. And there's actually 2 types of offers that we're going to talk about. But let me just kind of give you an understanding of the different types of plans we have and what's involved in each one of them, and go from there. Hopefully, I only clicked once. All right, so the first one I talked about is $97 a month. 1,000 search credits per month. I just talked about that. Postcards are $2 each if you mail them. And then a site builder credit's $1 each. And so part of the offer for this particular event is just the one-time bonuses that we can throw in on top of that. One of the things that I actually just cruised past and didn't really talk too much about is that you can also do bulk credits. And I built it in the way that I'd want to buy it. I've done a lot of this stuff, and nothing makes me more upset than when I hit like the maximum number of credits and I got like a week left and I only need like 100 more credits. So with that in mind, I ended up building this thing where you could buy bulk credits, and it will use those after it's used all of your other ones. And if it doesn't use all of them, whatever it didn't use, those credits will roll over into the next month. So it gives you just like a nice little bucket of credits that you can dip into if you need to, but if you don't end up using them, you don't have to. So anyway, the reason I'm talking about that is because in the offers, you'll get bonus credits so that you'll have basically 1,000 search credits every month, and you'll already have 1,000 in the bank in case you go past those 1,000. You can use those automatically. With this offer, you'll get 100 site builder credits. And then 25 postcard credits to sort of get you up and out of the gate. And then we'll do an onboarding call with you as well. In fact, I'll do 2 if you need it or whatever, just to make sure you're up and running and rolling down the road with it. The next plan is I'm going to probably rename these like a team plan. Imagine you've got a single sub account, but you got 5 people and they're using it. So you can have one sub account with unlimited users in that sub account. You're going to have a lot more searches every month. You got 5,000 searches you can do. The cost per postcard drops a bit. And same thing with the site builder. And then the one-time bonuses are also, basically doubled, so you end up with like 2,000 bulk credits, 200 site builder credits, 100 postcards. And then the same thing with the onboarding session. And then the final plan is basically just the agency mode. This will give you the ability to put it into all of your sub accounts and have every single user in your platform using it. And so this also comes with more credits. And you can see it's all the same stuff, just different quantities of each. But it'll get you up and running out of the gate. So there is one other thing I was going to show in terms of special offers, but I feel like it's probably worth just pausing and see if there's any, did I create confusion? Does it make sense? Any questions I can answer in any of the plans or any of the pieces and parts around it?
So if you are running on like the agency plan in one of your sub accounts, you just get an email if they limit on like max out their credits.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can just go right into that screen like I just showed, and you can increase their credits, automatically, or sell them a new plan, or however you choose to handle it.
And these aren't done like the postcards and the site builders, those aren't really done on per se credits. Those are billed additionally per month on a dollar amount.
Yeah, it's not per month. It's you just so you have the monthly plan, and that's like the 97, 297, or 497. And then from there, if you want to buy, site builder credits or postcard credits, you can just buy them and use them at any time. They never expire. You're not like forced to buy them every month or anything like that. It's just they're there. If you want them, you can click and buy and just load up that balance of those credits at any time.
Oh, so it's like a wallet system for the postcards.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Well, yep. Thank you for that. Actually, I'm going to work that in there somewhere.
Yeah. That's the same way like HighLevel analogies it.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. That was really my only question, I think, was the whole wallet system.
All right, perfect. Well, with that being said, we also, just for the particular event itself, put together like a limited time offer. And I'm going to flip the screen, but what you're going to notice is that basically we're taking all the one-time bonuses and just essentially doubling it on each of them. So that would give you an opportunity to have, these accounts and then get, a lot more, value out of all the accounts, or any of these plans that you choose to pick. And this is a limited time offer. This one's going to go through Sunday at noon. And then that offer will pretty much be gone. And the other one you'd still be able to get, through Jenna only.
Sounds
That's
great.
it.
That's exciting. Okay, well, if anybody has any questions, we'll throw up the recordings for everybody. So if you want to rewatch any of it, Tom's in our group. So if you have any questions, tag him on the post.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'll throw it up on YouTube too. But yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions. I'm excited to roll this out for myself and test it, especially for like the reputation management. So that's how I started my agency. If you guys haven't heard my backstory, was with reputation management. So love talking about it, and I am really excited to roll that out. And I love that you guys have like a foot in the door. Like you don't have to start at like $800 per month, like some of the other like postcard services out there, which I don't think you're necessarily a postcard only service. Like some of these other, like the way you positioned it, I think is so brilliant. So great job, Tom.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Because for so long now I've been like wanting to get into like some of the postcard companies, but I think this is a perfect like for people who don't want to spend $1,000 a month on postcard just to be able to serve the postcard industry. So I think this is just like you laid it out perfectly. You can pull the businesses in and you can ship out the postcards all for like a decent amount of money, like, and it's not, you're not breaking the bank with it. And the postcard templates, the way you laid it out, I just think you did a really good job.
No, I appreciate all that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to hear any feedback. Like Jenna said, I am in a group. Feel free to tag me in there. Always happy to help and connect in that way. So yeah, thanks so much, Jen. I really appreciate being here, and I appreciate you hosting this and having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. But we'll stay down at the replay, like I said again, and if anybody has any questions, let us know. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Tom. Thanks, Jenna.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Bye, Drew.
See ya.
Bye, Beth.